And today we're going to be talking about how to come back after a setback. So this is a topic I'm really excited about, and I know that it's one that we talk about in the midst of a lot of other things, but we don't necessarily talk about it a lot just on its own. And I think it's an important one, and you're going to hear why in a few minutes. So if you have anybody that needs to be on the call, now's your last chance to hit up Facebook and tag them or text them or harass them via Facebook Messenger and tell them to get on, because I'm going to dive in just a second. All right. Can everybody see? Yes, no, maybe? Cool. All right. So like I said, today we're talking about how to come back after a setback. And in life and in coaching, setbacks are just something that's going to happen. So learning how to deal with them and how to move through them in a healthy way and even how to leverage them is a really, really great skill to have in your coaching toolkit and for you yourself, and then as you grow your own team as a mentor. So let's talk about a couple truths, and I'm going to talk about 3 easy steps to help you. So this is going to be a pretty simple call, not too much note-taking probably required. So just keep your heart open and your mind ready, and let's dive in. So let's start with the basics. Setbacks are inevitable, and you can clump setbacks in with whatever you want. You could call them failures. You can say setbacks, you can say mess ups, whatever it is that it means to you, they're just inevitable. And this is in coaching, this is in life. It's just kind of par for the course. So the chance of you making it through your life, your coaching business, without setbacks and without failures is slim to none. It's just not going to happen, especially if you're going to be trying new things. And let's face it, coaching is a new thing. This is not a career path that a lot of people are familiar with. Yes, network marketing has really taken off in especially the last few years in popularity and in acceptance, but in the grand scheme of career paths, we're still pretty new. This is still something that not everybody is used to yet. So if you're going to try new things, if you're going to be new, if you're going to have a transformation, if you're going to say, no, I'm going to go on this new path for my life, if you're going to live a life worth living, then setbacks are inevitable. The question is the question of how am I going to bounce back after a setback is not a question of, is it a possibility, but it's a question of necessity. So I know that there's a ton of quotes out there that talk about the difference between, successful even unsuccessful is how they deal with failure, like what happens after they fail. And that's what this comes from. So that question of what do I do after I have a failure? What do I do after I have a setback? Well, it's not necessarily a question of, is it possible for me to bounce back, as much as how am I going to make it a necessity? How am I going to make sure that it happens? So step number 1, if you're going to live a life worth living, you must make it a must to deal with setbacks. So this just has to be something in your mind that you're ready and okay with. Every single successful coach deals with this. And it's how you respond as a coach and just as a person that is going to separate the ones who are successful in our industry and in their life from the people that struggle and that are unsuccessful. So I know that this seems kind of like, yeah, we know this, but let's talk about some actual examples of coaches that have had some setbacks from common and simple to some really big ones. So I pulled a couple leaders in the Bombshell Dynasty and found setbacks kind of across the board, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys know all of these coaches and all of their stories, but I'll give you a little bit of an introduction to each person. We're going to go from left to right. So on the left is Brigitte Linford. And she's been a coach for 3 or 4 years now. And one of her big setbacks that she's publicly spoken about, which is kind of a funny one, is that right before she signed up as a coach, she had kind of gone through this rut in her life and had basically done a social media purge. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, where you kind of get stuck in a rut and you go and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to unfollow all these people that, you know, don't add value to my life anymore. I'm just going to disconnect. I have all these friends that I don't really know. And she had done that on Facebook. So she had gone through her Facebook and just deleted tons and tons of people. She basically took it down to just the friends and family that she sees. Well, as you guys know, as coaches, building your network is a huge part of what we do. And all of those people being able to see what she was doing would have been really helpful. She signed up as a coach and then learned, oops, I'm supposed to be reconnecting with people that I knew from my past. I'm supposed to be building these relationships, not cutting them off. And she realized, uh-oh, that was a setback. Now, she could have looked at it and gone, you know, I'm just not cut out for coaching. Obviously, I don't have enough contacts. It's going to take me so long to rebuild all of this. What if those people don't want me to send them a new friend request because I just canceled our friendship on Facebook? But she didn't. She kept going. Next, from the left, is Nikki Johnson. Nikki missed the leadership retreat by 1 week. So I know that some of you guys are new coaches, but the leadership retreat is a really incredible thing that you can qualify for, and it's very exclusive, and it's something that a lot of coaches look forward to when they're building a business and building a team and making this their career. The leadership retreat is reserved for just the top of the company each year. There's only a few hundred people that get to go, and you have to qualify. And Nikki last year missed it by 1 week. She had almost just enough to qualify, and she didn't. And then the week after the qualification is when she got what she needed to qualify. So she really did have it. It just wasn't there in time. And she had to miss out on going to leadership that year and wait till the whole next year for another opportunity to do it. After pushing so hard, that was a huge letdown for her. That took the wind out of her sails because she felt like she deserved it. And she felt like she had worked hard and she had tried just as hard as everybody else. And she had to watch all of her friends and all of the people that she looked up to and that she wanted to be there with go and have this experience that she didn't get to have. Third one in is Bonnie Engel. Bonnie, last year, I asked her actually if she had a defining moment with setbacks and failure. And she, without hesitation, said, last year I missed elite. And that was a defining moment for me in my Beachbody career. Bonnie and I became friends around this time last year, and we were both pushing for elite together, and we both missed it. And I remember this time in her business because it was a difficult time for her. She really, really, really wanted elite. That was her big goal, and she was trying very hard, and she had been trying really hard, and she was struggling so hard just to maintain a 2-star diamond organization. Her coaches were not all staying up at the same time. She couldn't find the new people to bring up in time, and she struggled in this, and she missed elite, and she got premier instead. And so she was premier all of this last year, and that was a really, really hard time for her around this time last year. So since Bonnie took my one of missing elite, I figured that I would tell you about one that happened to me earlier in my business. So when I started as a coach, I started really strong out of the gate. I knew that I wanted to make this as big as possible, as quickly as possible in my life. And I set my sights on building to diamond because I knew that that was one of the big stepping stones to making a career out of coaching. And I built to diamond really quickly. I built to diamond in 70 days, which is pretty quick. It's not like the fastest ever, but it's pretty quick. And I was so excited, and everybody was congratulating me, and all of these people were, I was getting some attention in the coaching network, and people were asking me how I did it and starting to follow me, and I started to feel kind of cool. And that was in the fall. And after that, the holiday season came, which is, a notoriously more difficult time of year than the other times of year. And I lost my diamond, and I didn't just lose it a little bit. I lost it hard. I lost it like I lost everybody pretty much that was there except for the family members and 1 or 2 discount coaches that stuck around. And I lost it for over 2 months. I couldn't remember the exact amount of time, and I didn't want to lie, so I wrote 2 months in here, but it was over 2 months. And those 2 months, I didn't sit around trying to get it back. I worked my ass off trying to get it back and couldn't get it back. It was just taking me so long to get it back. And I was so defeated and so frustrated over it because I felt like if I could do this as a brand new coach in 70 days, why can't I do this now? Last one is Miss Laura Mendenhall. She had a star diamond coach in her organization quit. One of her top leaders in her business just decided that this wasn't for her anymore. And that happens, you guys. Diamonds quit, star diamonds quit. And when you have a business and you've poured into someone for so long, that is a huge blow, especially to the team, to the momentum, to you yourself as a mentor. It makes you wonder, like, did you do something wrong? Could you have done something better to help? There's a lot of things that this brings up. She had a star diamond quit. So let's talk about this, because we've already said that it's how you respond to the setbacks that really make the difference, right? Because if setbacks are the great equalizer, every single person from the brand new coach to Lindsay Matway to Melanie Mitro to Amy Silverman to the top people in the organization, if every single person is going through this, then what separates someone who is not successful in coaching from those people who are? Well, it's how you respond. It's what happens after you go through the setbacks. So all of these setbacks, from really, really devastatingly hard to deal with, like Laura losing a star diamond, like Bonnie missing elite qualification, to struggles as a new coach, like me losing my diamond, like Brigida not having a market, having just destroyed her warm market before she signed up for a coach, as a coach. So what happened? Because as you guys know, every face you see here is still around. So all of these people here decided that that was going to be a clutch moment for them, and they were going to use the setback in some way to help them move forward. So let's talk about what happened for each of these people. Brigida Linford decided that she wasn't going to let her warm market or her lack of warm market stop her from being a coach. It was too important for her to build this for her family. And if you've watched any of Brigida's videos online, you can just YouTube her, Brigida Linford, and she has tons of videos and training online. She speaks so passionately about how she had to do this for her family. It was do or die for her. And so she said, you know what? I just destroyed my warm market. I will rebuild it. Friend request by friend request. And she did. She just went back to the drawing board. She re-friend requested all of those people. And then she looked for more. And every single day she looked for more people to connect to, more people to share her story with, more people to share the coaching opportunity with. And she went on to be a superstar diamond millionaire club with one of the most successful teams in the entire network. And she has thousands and thousands of followers now on YouTube and Facebook and all of these different platforms because she consistently decided to rebuild. Nikki Johnson, who missed leadership by a week. Another famous coach who missed leadership by just a week or two is Melanie Mitro. She decided not to ever miss leadership again. She said, I don't like this feeling. I don't ever want to feel it again. And I'm going to resolve right now that this is not going to be what breaks me. I am going to say, I missed it this year. I'm never going to miss it again. And she went on to build a 13-star diamond team and has never missed leadership since then. Bonnie Engel, who missed elite last year, she decided that missing elite was not going to be what defined her career as a coach. And instead, coming back with a bang was what was going to be what defined her career as a coach. And Bonnie went from missing elite this time last year, struggling to keep her 2-star diamond, to just today being a 15-star official superstar diamond. She's also number 5 in the entire company, so she's in the top 10. I, having lost my diamond as a brand new coach, I actually considered quitting. It was the holiday time, and I was one of those cliche people that said, you know what, this is just a lot. I don't know if I'm cut out for it. But I had a vision for what coaching could do for my family and my future. And I had this little teeny feeling inside, deep down, that even though I lost my diamond, that I could still be really, really good at this. And so I said, you know what? I built it once. I can build it again. I did it one time, I could do it again. And I decided that I was going to rebuild stronger than my first time, and I would never, ever, ever lose my diamond again. And since then, I have rebuilt that diamond to a 13-star diamond team, stronger than ever. I've also built a second business center to a 2-star diamond business center, and helped my husband to build to a 1-star diamond coach. So building lots of diamonds all over the place. Laura Mendenhall, she is still in the midst of bouncing back from her setback, which is why I wanted to include her, because it's really easy to look at people who went through a setback a while ago and who have now had this really staggering amount of success. And it's like, well, that's great for them. But I wanted to include Laura because she's in the midst of it now. She's in the midst of responding to her setback. And this is a difficult time. This is a time that's making her decide who she is as a leader. And she is an incredible, incredible inspiration because she has not missed a beat since it's happened. She has decided that this is not going to be the setback that stops her, but this is what's going to fuel her to having a stronger team than ever. It's helped her to reprioritize pouring into the top 20% of her leaders, the ones that are working the hardest, the ones that really want to be there, instead of worrying about the one person who didn't want to be there. Because coaching is not for everybody. If it was, every single person would already be a coach, and that's okay. That's okay. And we can't control what other people do. We can't control what our coaches do, but we can control how we respond, and we can control the actions we take moving forward. So Laura has just been rebounding like crazy, and she is going to have the most ridiculous rebound story from this. I just know that she's going to. She's doing fine, but she's just going to have like a crazy, I know, after story later on. Go to bed, baby. All right, moving forward. So when we have these successes or failures, we have to remember that failure is not the last word. One of the things that I heard recently when I was listening to some personal development about failure is that this is going to sound really simplistic, but when I heard it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. So always, in every single thing in your life, before you can do something, there's a period of time that you can't do it. And so every try, from that very first try to the millionth try to whatever, till you can do it, can be deemed a failure. As a baby learning to walk, you take little steps. You fall a million times. You don't know how to walk before you do know how to walk. So every time you attempt it could have been a failure. It could be deemed a failure. And a lot of the times we have this black and white mentality about success and failure, where it's either success or failure. But the key is that success and failure are not two different roads. They're actually the same road, with success further down the line of the road than failure. Does that make sense? So every single try that you have until you can do something, until you achieve something, is technically a failure. It's technically a setback, and that's perfectly okay. And it's being able to see that success and failure are not separated. Success is not over here in this unachievable category where only some people get it, and then failure is over here, and once you fall on the failure side, you can't get back to the success side. They're actually one road. So when you fail, instead of thinking that you've fallen off of the right path, you just need to look forward and know that success is just a couple steps further down the road than you are right now. Step number 2, if you're experiencing a failure or a setback right now, relax. Don't draw conclusions about your character, your worth, your existence in the planet because you've experienced a setback or a failure. So it's super important not to let the specific failure become global about you. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that we as humans have a tendency to start to expound on this failure and say, well, I missed this one thing, so that means that I'm horrible at this, which means that I can't do this, which means that I'll never be good at that. And then all of a sudden it goes from just one small thing to you being horrible at everything you've ever tried in your life. And that is not the right way to go. So you can't draw conclusions about who you are as a person, your worth as a person, your worth as a coach, your decision to try coaching just because of one setback or failure. If you're not experiencing failures, you may not be putting yourself out there enough. Are you playing it too safe? So everybody thinks that success is just this slow climb to the top. But I love this graphic because this is what success really looked like. It's messy. It's a lot of falls. It's a lot of get back ups. It's a lot of loop-de-loos. And that's okay because at the end, we're all still moving in that forward direction. There we go. So, truth. This specific setback is not global in your life. How do we deal with this, right? So we confine our conclusion about it. What do I mean when I say that? I mean, watch your tendency to draw these global conclusions just because of one failure. Here's a kind of silly example. I missed Success Club. And to hit Success Club, I was supposed to be finding these challengers. And to find these challengers, I was supposed to be posting on Facebook. But nobody joined my challenge group. So should I then question my ability to use Facebook? And if I'm questioning my ability to use Facebook, should I question my ability to type words on a computer? And if I'm questioning my ability to type words on a computer, then does that mean that I don't know how to speak? Like, see how silly it can be to expand globally on one little thing? And it sounds so stupid when I use this example, but this is exactly what we do. You say, well, that person didn't want to join my challenge group, so I must have a really horrible way of explaining coaching, which means that I must just really be horrible at this, which means that my whole transformation was a joke, which means that I shouldn't have even tried this. I don't know why I try anything. I should just sit at home and be a failure all my life. It's like, no, you shouldn't. It's not that big. It's not that big. It's just one small thing. And your failure is not a reflection of who you are as your whole person. It's not a reflection of your decision to try this new path. It's just you tried something and it didn't quite work out. So we have a few options when that happens, right? We can let it define us. We can say, well, because of that failure, now everything about me is not good enough. It's not going to be good enough. Or we can say, no, I'm going to confine this to just this one iteration of what I'm doing, right? This 1 month Success Club, this one goal for December, my end of the year goal, whatever it was for you, whatever the thing is in your life. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, okay, that one thing was a failure, but I can see that I'm just not to my success yet. I'm learning how to get there. I'm learning how to walk. And so all I need to do is get back up and keep walking down the road, because success and failure are on the same path. And if I'm failing, it means I'm just not quite down the road enough yet. So all of it is learning and trying again. What does this mean, though, in coaching, right? So to me, this means there has to be a moment where you experience this sadness, and that's okay. And you look at yourself and you have to decide whether you're going to pick yourself up and keep moving forward, or whether you're going to let it be the thing that ends you. And there's nobody that can do this for you but you. So personal development is a huge part of this, because personal development helps you to grow in your mental strength, your emotional strength, to dealing with these problems that you have, to dealing with weak spots that you have. So being constantly in personal development can help you to rebound quicker when you're having these things, and to help you to remember, oh, this is just specific to this one situation. This isn't a reflection of me as a person and my value and my worth as a human, or as a coach, or on this team, or as a leader. So we can decide to get back up or not. Second, we can decide if we're going to use this to grow. So you can say, like, for example, Brigitte, who had messed up her warm market before starting, she could use this as a way to grow and to be better and to help other people be better. So now Brigitte can tell people, you know what? I did that. Don't do that. Don't make that silly mistake I did. And here's some ways to get around that. And if you did make that silly mistake, it's okay. Here's how I fixed it. Here's some steps I can take. And that experience made her a better leader for other people. And it can be the same thing for you. Me losing my diamond helped me to be a better leader, because I can help other people to build stronger diamonds. I can say, listen, I built a diamond that wasn't really strong, and this is what happened, and I had a hard time getting it back. So here's why it's really important for you to build a really strong diamond, to look for business builders instead of just discount coaches. And if you do lose it, it's okay. I built it back. I know what it feels like. I know how frustrated you are. I know that you can do it though. And now I can be a better leader because of it. Bonnie and Nikki missing out on those qualifications that they wanted to hit. They used that as fuel to not miss it again. That drove them, that became part of their why for the fourth quarter. So actually both those things happened this time of year. And it drove them to finish the year really strong. It drove them to work a little bit harder so that they didn't have to have that same problem next year, to get as much momentum as possible so that they could create a different situation for themselves in the future. So to recap, let me go back to my other slide. Step number 1, if you're going to live a life worth living, you have to make it a must to deal with setbacks. So I know it's not the most sexy thing to hear that you're just going to have to learn how to get good at bouncing back, but it's the truth. And the quicker that you get used to that as just part of your life as a coach, the easier your journey is going to be. Number 2, relax when you do have a setback. Try not to draw conclusions about your character and your worth and your existence from it. And step 3, watch your tendency to draw these global conclusions. So what I like to say is confine your conclusions. Confine them to just this little thing, this little event. It's not your whole business. It's not your entire ability as a coach or as a human. It's just this one little thing. And lastly, decide if you're going to learn and try again. Remember that success and failure are not two different paths. They're the same road. Success is just a few steps further. So thank you guys. That's all I have for you for now. So I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording.